You dive headfirst into a new obsession. You buy all the gear, spend 3 sleepless nights figuring out exactly how it works, and right when you finally get good at it, the interest just completely vanishes. Most people spend their lives trying to close loops. They pick a lane, settle into a routine, and decide exactly who they are and what they do. Your brain, however, relies on open loops. It needs constant novelty and fresh questions to generate the dopamine required to function. To the outside world, this looks like random distraction. Internally, your brain is running an aggressive scan of your environment, pulling in broad, seemingly unrelated data points and searching for patterns that others miss. You have spent a lifetime measuring yourself against an economic game explicitly designed to penalize how your mind naturally works. For the last century, the global economy rewarded a very specific behavior, picking a single, narrow task and repeating it predictably for 40 years. The system paid for reliable specialists. Surviving that structure required a daily toll, the executive function tax. Every burst of creativity had to be meticulously organized through rigid administrative rules. For a divergent mind, this bottleneck is fatal. The energy to organize the thought drains the momentum needed to execute it. If the system heavily taxes the exact mechanism your brain uses to operate while rewarding narrow repetition, you are left without a clear path to success. In a strictly human-powered assembly line world, the divergent thinker was destined to operate at a structural disadvantage. Today, artificial intelligence is absorbing the exact type of labor that defined the old economy. The predictable, closed-loop, rule-following tasks are being completely automated. AI now acts as an artificial executive function. It handles the scheduling, the organizing, and the administrative friction that used to kill your momentum. This creates a direct route from concept to reality. Your wide net of ideas no longer has to squeeze through an administrative toll booth to become real. By removing the friction of execution, the bottleneck of value flips. When flawless execution is nearly free, the marketplace shifts its focus toward the ability to generate unexpected, unautomatable ideas. Technological history shows that the largest leaps rarely came from specialists digging deeper into their own narrow fields. They came from people who connected separate worlds. Johannes Gutenberg wasn't a monk copying manuscripts. He understood metal casting and adapted an agricultural tool, a wooden wine press, to ink and paper. Steve Jobs achieved dominance by prioritizing an unexpected intersection of technology and liberal arts, applying the principles of calligraphy and design to personal computing. Wilbur and Orville Wright beat massive, specialized engineering teams to the sky because they applied their understanding of bicycle balance to aerodynamics. That wide net of cross-disciplinary knowledge put a machine in the air while the experts were still trying to brute force a solution on the ground. Breakthroughs require you to connect distinct, separate lanes of thought. This is a task that goes entirely against the biological instincts of a specialist. The restless curiosity and constant scanning across different disciplines are the defining markers of the ADHD brain. By biology, you are actually a generalist. Every abandoned hobby and late-night Wikipedia deep dive functions as a raw data point. You are building a massive cross-disciplinary database that most people simply cannot access. AI is incredibly powerful, but it is entirely reactive. It cannot generate its own dopamine. It doesn't feel a biological urge to explore a strange new question. It relies on a human pilot to point it towards something interesting. AI provides the execution engine, but your brain provides the required navigational map. To maximize the output of one, you need the other. This necessitates a shift in how you operate. Stop trying to force yourself into a narrow mold and start ruthlessly tracking what actually gives you energy. When a task drains that energy, when it requires strict, repetitive administration, you can now offload it to AI. Let the software manage the friction. Give yourself permission to follow the side quests. Those interests that seem unrelated to your career are the raw material for future leverage. Look at the 3 most random things you are obsessed with and find the intersection between them. That specific overlap is a territory where no software and no human specialist can effectively compete. As AI takes over the predictable lanes, the very traits that once limited you become your most effective tools for navigating a post-specialist economy.